Hayley's pregnancy concerns. Martin takes control. A sudden pain brought Hayley to her knees during a fierce argument with Danny about Bill, casting an even darker cloud over an already heavy atmosphere. The two had reached the peak of hostility. Jealousy and suspicion had spun out of control, and then Hayley's body reacted unexpectedly. Clutching her stomach, she collapsed in excruciating pain. But instead of compassion, Danny stood coldly, her eyes filled with doubt. She was convinced Hayley was faking it, pretending to be pregnant as part of a ploy to keep Bill, a man Danny had never truly let go of. No one could confirm the truth but Hayley, yet Danny didn't need proof. She believed it with a blinding certainty. At the hospital, the tension only deepened. While doctors attended to Hayley, Danny stood in the hallway, biting her lip, unable to hide her contempt. Her mind was consumed with suspicion. She believed Hayley would lose the baby, if such a baby even existed. To her, everything was just another piece in Hayley's scheme to trap Bill in a loveless marriage. Danny couldn't forgive that, and couldn't forgive herself for still loving a man who had chosen someone else. Elsewhere in town, Nicole was preparing to confront Andre, her beloved nephew, and also her greatest concern. Andre's involvement with Danny, Nicole's own sister, had long unsettled her. Nicole knew how complicated Danny was and feared her secrets might drag Andre into something dangerous. Andre respected his aunt deeply and valued her opinions, which only intensified Nicole's fears. If she spoke her mind, if she warned him, would Andre listen? Deep down, Nicole knew Andre still had feelings for Ashley, the girl he once saw as his everything, who was now single again, possibly offering a way out of the tangled relationship with Danny. Nicole stood before a difficult choice: intervene or stay silent and let fate take its course. Meanwhile, another threat quietly loomed as Martin began to unravel under growing pressure from Kenneth. The $100,000 wasn't just blackmail, it symbolized control, a shackle binding Martin to a dark past he had tried desperately to bury. But efforts to escape it proved futile, as those he once trusted were now caught in the same web of guilt. Martin could no longer hide when he entered the room where his father, Ted, along with Bill, Vernon, Elon, Marcel, and Joey, were discussing how to deal with Kenneth. The moment Martin realized his father knew everything, rage flared in his eyes. He was no longer a victim. He was the one holding power now, a power forged from pain, betrayal, and vengeance. Martin didn't leave that meeting quietly. His fury erupted, and Ted had to take him home before he did something dangerous. But the damage was done. Martin no longer trusted anyone. He decided to confront Kenneth his own way, without his father's approval, without advice from Bill or Vernon. He was done with paying, done with hiding. He wanted to end it, once and for all. At the same time, Smitty was following the faint traces of that fateful night involving Martin. He remembered Martin returning home in different clothes, his panicked eyes revealing more than he realized. Smitty knew something terrible had happened, and he believed he was close to the truth. But that truth implicated the town's most powerful figures, from the police chief to the doctor, from the lawyer to the priest. If Smitty pressed on, he might expose secrets buried for the past 2 years. But the cost could be everything: his reputation, his career, his family. Piece by piece, the links began to surface. Characters seemingly unrelated became inextricably tied by a chain of tragic events. Elon, praised for his spotless record, had once turned a blind eye to an unforgivable sin. Marcel, who should have pursued the case, chose instead to cover it up. Joey, the moral compass, was secretly complicit. And Ted, the model father, the trusted advisor, had urged his son to stay silent, accept the threats, and carry the burden of guilt. Martin couldn't take it anymore. He began planning, and this time, he didn't ask anyone's permission.
No Bill.
No Vernon. No Ted. Just him and the truth. Kenneth thought he had Martin under control, but he didn't know he was lighting a fuse that no one could extinguish. Martin was no longer a victim. He was the one making the calls. He held the scales of justice. And if violence was necessary, he would not hesitate. The episode ends at a fever pitch. Hayley lies in the emergency room, while Danny continues pressing the doctors to verify whether she's truly pregnant. Andre stands before Nicole, his eyes torn between reason and emotion. And Martin steps out of the house, his gaze sharp as glass, his mind set on a plan with no mercy. Everyone is being pushed to the brink, where secrets will be exposed, and every choice brings irreversible consequences. At the heart of this storm, Beyond the Gates is no longer just a show. It's a survival battle among those who have nothing left to lose. Amid the tension and unraveling schemes, Bill can't hide his intrigue at Joey's cryptic proposal, something dangerous and alluring that might shift the tide in the fight against Kenneth. While the men involved in that fateful night gather at the casino, an ambush is quietly taking shape. But they don't realize Joey's game might be even bigger than Kenneth's, and Bill may already be trapped in it. Meanwhile, Leslie continues manipulating those around her, quietly influencing Eva with unclear intentions, redemption or destruction. Leslie's return could shatter any peace Eva is struggling to build. And as night falls over Beyond the Gates, each character edges closer to their limits. Each secret drags itself into the light, leaving viewers unable to look away. One more move, and everything could collapse.